On Wednesday after the market closed, Micron reported its quarterly results, and the takeaway was clear. Memory pricing is surging. Memory is usually a tough and ultra-competitive business akin to commodities. Prices rise, producers add supply in response, supply eventually exceeds demand, and margins correct. That may still happen, but unlikely in the near term. Micron's operating margins, which exceeded 80%, are well above prior cycle peaks. And that tells us that memory companies have unusual pricing power right now, for which they can thank artificial intelligence. Why is that? AI servers need far more memory than traditional ones. DRAM, or dynamic random access memory, is the working memory that computers use to process data, and AI systems need a variant of it called high bandwidth memory. For DRAM, demand has grown faster than supply can respond, driving a more than 10x increase in prices in the last year. The memory companies are really the only winners here, as everyone downstream is paying up, with no good alternatives in the short term. Take, for example, Nvidia's latest AI servers. In Nvidia's current data center rack generation, the GB300, memory is under 10% of the system's cost. But in the next generation, set to debut in the coming months, the Vera Rubin 200, memory costs climb to 26%. In dollar terms, memory per rack will go from $374,000 to over $2 million, accounting for more than 40% of the rack's total cost increase. Unsurprisingly, the sales numbers for the memory market are exploding higher, but so far this is a price-driven rather than volume-driven phenomenon. From 2025 to 27, UBS estimates that DRAM revenue will rise from $151 billion to more than $1.1 trillion, about a seven-fold increase, but volume sold will only rise 47%. NAND memory, used for permanent file storage, has a similar profile. For the memory firms, higher prices mean higher margins, but for everyone else, from Nvidia to the cloud computing providers and to consumer tech, it means a larger hardware bill. Apple's newly announced device prices on Thursday will likely make this cost increase tangible for many. With its scale and supply chain, Apple rarely raises prices, holding steady the last few years despite broader inflation. But it just lifted pricing for much of its lineup, from 6% on the Vision Pro to more than a 30% increase on some Macs. The reasons cited? Memory. So how long does this last? Probably a few years, and it comes down to supply, competition, and innovation. Start with supply. DRAM's essentially three players, Samsung, SK hynix, and Micron, who so far have shown restraint, which is holding prices up. But 80% margins are a powerful incentive to expand. To some extent, that expansion is already underway. Capacity for high bandwidth memory, the type used for AI, is set to grow more than eightfold from 2023 to 27, with most of that build-out yet to come. And on Thursday night, reports emerged that Samsung and SK hynix are preparing to announce hundreds of billions of dollars in new investment, an early sign that the supply response is accelerating, and a move that will likely pressure Micron to follow suit. On competition and innovation, high prices push customers to engineer around constraints instead of paying for them. Take, for example, Chinese AI firms who have shown exceptional performance gains despite hardware limits. We expect US tech firms to do the same through software enhancements and more efficient AI model designs. We also wouldn't rule out in-house memory efforts similar to how Apple, Google, and Amazon have moved toward designing their own chips. Over time, we expect the memory market to rebalance, and given demand and planned supply, we think it's a multi-year process. For now, the theme remains investable, but increased capex will pose a risk to the durability of the pricing power story. Free markets have a history of incentivizing supply responses and driving innovation around bottlenecks. We don't expect this time to be any different. Please let us know if you have any questions or feedback. Thank you and have a great weekend.